Congratulations to you, Will, One to Watch Award winner, and thank you to Len for just bringing us a little bit of a picture of what the project was all about. The third contender for Object of the Year is Jack Clemo's Braille pocket watch from Will Martin China Clay Museum. So here it is, Jack Clemo's first Braille watch that he used until his first marriage in 1968. Jack Clemo, for those of you who don't know, was a Cornish poet and writer who slowly lost his hearing at 19 and was blind by the age of 39. Although his world was retracting inwards around him, it didn't stop him from following his passion of writing. A lot of his writing focused on the clayscape of the time, how the natural world was making way for the progress of machinery upon it. Rather than mourn that change, however, he celebrated it. Why is it weird and wonderful? Well, a Braille watch is something you simply may not realise exists in the modern world of digital watches and timepieces. But for someone whose life has become enveloped in darkness, having that familiar way of telling time would almost be a godsend. The wear on the watch also suggests it was something he used a lot, and it helped him keep in touch with the world around him. The watch is also important in that it reminds us that having a disability doesn't have to stop us from doing great things. And that's the third Object of the Year, Jack Clemo's Braille pocket watch. Our next award is for contribution to the environment and circular economy. This is for any initiative, no matter how big or small, that has enabled a museum to be more sustainable and environmentally accountable. There's an award for larger museums and then one for smaller museums, both kindly sponsored again this year by Tevi. The shortlisted larger museums are Falmouth Art Gallery, introducing environmentally friendly resources. The Shipwreck Treasure Centre for their project to switch over to LED lighting throughout the museum. And PK Porthcurno for the Planet PK project, supporting natural biodiversity. This year's winner for environment and circular economy for the larger museums is PK Porthcurno. Julia Tumlo is representing the museum today. Congratulations, Julia.
Hi there, Daphne. Thank you so much. It's absolutely it's amazing. This has been such a fun project to work on. And it's meant a lot, particularly during lockdown and during the summer while we were closed, having the wildflowers in the valley. And that we were particularly helped by the Eden Project in getting those in place. So it's meant a great deal when the museum's closed to actually have the outside just looking amazing. And also our bees, of course, thanks to our wonderful gardener, Patrick Trembath, who introduced them for us.
It's good to have that collaboration, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it meant that we brought in the expertise that we weren't able to access sort of in-house. And we've learned a huge amount in doing it as well. And
how will you continue this?
We're going to, well, the flowers are all in place and they will continue year on year. We just have to kind of keep this relatively easy to take care of them, actually, easier than having grass borders. So we will be using, keeping those going, and we're also looking at possibly expanding into some other parts of the site as well, where we might be putting in more wildflowers. We've increased our beehives. We've now got 5 in place, I think, and we're selling the honey in the shop very shortly.
Something to buy then, Julia.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Now to the smaller museums shortlisted for the Environment Award. They are the Cornwall Heritage Centre in Bude for their host of greener initiatives, Newlyn Archive for their Tidal Observatory Open Day, and Newquay Heritage Museum and Archive for their Greening the Museum programme. And the winner is the Cornwall Heritage Centre in Bude. And joining us today from the centre is Janine King. Very well done to you, Janine.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This means an awful lot to all of us. Bude is really at the forefront of many environmental initiatives, and the castle has also worked very hard. So we're absolutely thrilled. Thank you very much.
What sort of initiatives do you talk about then when you're doing these things?
So in our cafe in particular has been at the forefront really of quite a few different initiatives over the last few years. In particular, fully compostable takeaway containers, for example. We have refill stations for water refill points in the castle, and lots of other things as well. So,
well, thank you so much. Lovely to put Bude on the map again.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
On to the fourth object of the year, which is the Mounted Horseman Ridge Tiles from Padstow Museum. Here's John Buckingham to tell us about these wonderful objects.
Welcome to Padstow Museum. I'm John Buckingham, Chairman of the Museum Management Committee, and I introduce you to these friends of ours, the two mounted horsemen. Our story begins in the 17th century, when travellers on horseback entering a town would look for somewhere to stable their horses. Enterprising innkeepers would place horseman tiles on their rooftops to attract attention. Two of these have remained in Padstow long after the stables have been removed. They sat looking down on the passers-by, old friends from older times. Over 100 years ago, Padstow storyteller Ennis Tregarthen published a book of stories, one of which began at the bottom of the old town. There is a house which has two tiny little men on horseback on the top of its roof. They have stood there for hundreds of years, and they never leave their places, save when they hear the great church clock strike the hour of midnight. When it is said, they leave the red tiles and gallop round the marketplace and through the streets of the little town.
Be interesting to know whether anyone has seen those little horseman ridge tiles galloping around Padstow. And now we move on to the Wellbeing Award for initiatives and activities that encourage healthy and active lifestyles for museum volunteers, staff, or visitors. Again, we have an award for larger museums and an award for smaller museums. The larger museums are the Museum of Life for their programme I Am, I Was, I Will Be. Henley House Gallery and Museum for their programme of arts and health workshops, and Wheel Martin China Clay Works for their initiatives around inclusivity and accessibility. The winner for larger museums for the Wellbeing Award is Wheel Martin. And Jo Moore is here today representing the museum. Jo, congratulations.
Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you. I'm absolutely thrilled. I can't really take any claim on this award because the application was actually put in by a member of staff who has since left us. So Nikita Brown, who was our exhibition engagement officer, deserves full credit for this award, and she started so many brilliant initiatives to include people who struggled in various ways with gardening clubs and all sorts of different things. So sadly, COVID has put a temporary halt to those, but it'll be fantastic to be able to start them up again. And I will certainly let Nikita know, she'll be thrilled. Thank you.
Thank you, Jo. It looks as though you've dressed up for the occasion as well. Thank you very much for doing that. Yes, you're loving the hair. It's wonderful. So on to the smaller museums. The shortlisted list are Bodmin Way for their programme of community walks and activities, Saltash Heritage for The Puzzle, a series of initiatives celebrating their volunteers, and Lawrence House Museum for their continual commitment to the well-being of their volunteers. The award for smaller museums goes to Saltash Heritage. And representing the team today is Lizzie Sharp-Asprey. Hello, Lizzie.
Hi, thank you. Absolutely amazing. Can you hear me okay? Absolutely amazing. My 65 volunteers who are sitting behind me will be over the moon. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure that my assistant secretary who's watching this will be on the blog in 5 minutes time to let them all know how fantastic they are. So thank you so much.
Lizzie, you use the word the puzzle. Is it just one puzzle or a collection?
It's one puzzle. Here we go. It's a picture of our last award with one piece missing. Everybody had a piece, every one of our volunteers had a piece of the puzzle. And if one piece is missing, then the museum doesn't work. And we actually gave this one to the winner of a bit of a competition we had. But when we had the party, everybody put their jigsaw together and we had the whole picture, which meant without one of them, we weren't working properly. And we gave them a little award, which was a silver jigsaw piece puzzle, which was to go onto their lanyards. So everyone will remember what they won it for.
Very important to remember everyone and to thank them as well. And thank you to your dog for making an appearance as well, Liz. But they have come along too. Our nominated object of the year is the Nodding Couple ceramic bathing figures from the Mevergizzy District Museum. We get to see it in action in this film.
This distinctive piece of pottery was made by Bernard Moss, a descendant of Russian emigrants who came from South East London to live in Mevergizzy with his wife Maureen and baby in 1949. They arrived in Mevergizzy in the dark and did not realise that they were so close to the sea, or that their accommodation had no gas, electricity, or even running water. Bernard produced models of figures, often with a Jewish theme, and Maureen, who was a highly skilled graphic artist, decorated them. He was fascinated by automania and devised a method to add movement to his models by means of pivots and counterbalances. When touched, the couple in the bath rocked back and forth, other models having nodding heads, and in the case of the mermaid, her tail rocks. In the late 1950s, Bernard took his nodder figures to Heel's department store in London, and at first was rejected by the ceramic buyer. But a chance encounter with one of the directors of the store rewarded him with an order for a dozen items. In future years, the orders increased to around 80 annually to be given to the store's best customers. These had a special mark of Heel fabrics on the back. Bernard retired in 1983, but still retained an interest in designing new models, firing them in a tiny electric kiln and giving them to his friends and family.
Fascinating story there about the Nodding Couple ceramic bathing figures from the Mevergizzy District Museum. Well, that brings us to halfway through the awards. I hope you're enjoying them so far and are getting involved. Remember, you can tweet using the hashtag CHA2020. Now we're going to take a short break of 10 minutes so that you can have a bit of a screen break, stretch your legs, take the dog for a walk, redo your hair or your headgear, make a cuppa. Don't forget to come back for more exciting announcements. We'll see you then.
What do they see?
See you in 10 minutes.
Well, welcome back, everyone. We've certainly seen some fabulous outfits during that break. We had the chance to make sure that we scoured Twitter for your photos this afternoon. And shout out to Sarah Trethowan, first of all, who's got her sparkly shoes on, to the Museum of Cornish Life, to Samantha Jackman, to Smudge from the University campus at Penryn, from Mark Barrett and Emma Hogg, who's definitely not wearing her slippers, so she says. Phil Gale, you look as though you're really enjoying some Kraus there. I'm not sure what it is, but we're all very tempted by what good thumbs up from you, Phil. Thank you very much. And please keep sending all of those photos to Twitter and on Instagram, and we'll certainly give you another mention later on in the proceedings. So now we move on to the Heritage Hero Award, which celebrates the work of a volunteer team who've achieved something really special. The three shortlisted teams are the Hawker Seahawk Conservation Team from Cornwall Aviation Heritage Centre, the Mucker and Loco Restoration Team from Giva Tin Mine, and the Backlog Project Team from Hale Heritage Centre. The winner of the 2020 Heritage Heroes Award is the Mucker and Loco team. Now, the team members aren't here this afternoon, but Jack Roberts is kindly representing them. Jack, would you like to say a few words? Are you muted, Jack? Maybe you're not here. Well, sadly, we can't talk to Jack, but we send all of our congratulations to the Mucker and Loco Restoration team from Giva Tin Mine for taking away the award for the Heritage Heroes. Now, our sixth contender for Object of the Year is the Patrick Lyons Red Cross Parcel chess set from Bodmin Key. Here is Verity Anthony explaining why this object is so special.
It's 1944 and Private Patrick Linehan of the Duke of Cornwall's Light Infantry is a prisoner of war in Munich. Whilst there, he receives a Red Cross parcel. These parcels were to supplement food supplies and giving the men something to look forward to in the form of chocolates or cigarettes. In Patrick's parcel was a small chess set produced by American company WMF Druth & Sons. They were designed as pocket sets, small enough to be carried by servicemen and easier to ship out in large quantities. With plastic playing pieces contained in a drawer below a small wooden board, the compact set would have been light enough to carry in a soldier's kit. The idea of keeping themselves occupied in this way through games would have been incredibly important to the soldiers' mental health when considering their situation and to keep them from getting bored. Given to us by Patrick not long after his 100th birthday in 2019, the chess set is in fantastic condition, with only a couple of pieces having been replaced with a button and a popper. To think this little set has survived so well, having been given to Patrick in 1945 and carried back with him on a Lancaster home to Britain on being released from the camp, makes this a wonderful object with a truly fantastic story and one we felt was worthy of the nomination.
Thank you very much for that, Verity. And all of these objects are quite fascinating, aren't they? They're lovely stories behind them. The next award is for the best festival, event or exhibition, celebrating temporary yet impactful activities. The shortlist is Godolphin Cross Community Association for the Tinners Festival, Newquay Heritage Archive and Museum, celebrating Douglas Pinder exhibition, and Tamar Protection Society, Mary Newman's Cottage Tudor afternoon event. The winner is the Tamar Protection Society. And with any luck, we've got Jerry Sweet online today. Jerry, are you there? Another bit of silence.
Yes, Jerry is here. Can you?
Okay, good. Yeah.
Right, I was muted, I'm afraid, and that's unusual for me. So thank you very much on behalf of our small but perfectly formed band of volunteers. Thank you to all involved this afternoon on putting on this rather splendid event in these rather unsettling times. We got a rich tapestry of museums and heritage groups in Cornwall, as I'm sure you all appreciate, and it's really good to showcase events like this to such a wide audience, and especially those of us who are just a bridge away from England to getting recognised as well. So thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you, Jerry. Tell me, how did the afternoon event go, and what sort of things did you put on that were sort of Tudorish?
Well, as you can see from the picture, possibly we got some musicians, friends of ours, who were playing authentic instruments and playing authentic Tudor music. They're called Illu Splan. So if anybody ever comes across them, please listen to them, because they are really very, very good. We also had some Tudor cookery going on. I can't remember a great deal, except that they were incredibly fattening, and I did enjoy them, but I can't remember any name there. And we also had, because we've got our own garden, we had a herb garden there. We displayed the herbs we have there, and said some of their medicinal usages that they had as well. So that was essentially to get the children more involved in what we were trying to do.
Congratulations to you and your perfectly formed team for the Mary Newman's Cottage Tudor afternoon event, which won the Best Festival Event or Exhibition Award. Thank you, Jerry, for joining us.
Thank you.
The seventh object of the year is the John and Lizzie Chapman Think of Me Cup from the National Maritime Museum, Cornwall. From St Neots in Cornwall, John and Lizzie Chapman longed to marry. In those days, for a couple to get married, the husband was expected to support his wife financially. And so in order to do this, John was forced to find a living abroad. For 5 long years, he worked in Canada, but finally returned home, and on Boxing Day 1911, John and Lizzie were married in Liskeard. The couple dreamt of moving to the USA to be closer to Lizzie's brother in Wisconsin, and so planned to emigrate, run a farm, and start a family. The voyage to America was to be their honeymoon, and they excitedly purchased their second-class tickets for £26. The name of the ship they were to travel on was the Titanic. On the Sunday before they left, John and Lizzie invited their friends and family for a farewell tea. They presented china cups as thank you gifts for the support they received. Lizzie gave this particular cup to the boy that delivered their milk. On the 14th of April 1922, as the Titanic began to sink, passengers were placed into lifeboats, including Lizzie. But when she realised that John would not be coming with her, following the custom of women and children first, she turned to her friend Emily Richards and said, "Goodbye, Mrs. Richards. If John can't go, I won't go either." Tragically, the couple both lost their lives. So this little cup, with its faded gold lettering, is a permanent reminder of the lives lost at sea, the endurance of love, and of kindness shared. Well, on to our next presentation, which is for Community Initiative, for a partnership project that addresses a local need. Cornwall Council has kindly sponsored this award. The nominees are the Five Islands School Pop-Up Museum by Isles of Scilly Museum, Septimus Sun Seal Exhibition by Mevergizzy District Museum, Blue Diehards by the Old Guildhall Museum and Jail. And the winner is the Isles of Scilly Museum. Now, before I hand over to their representative, Rachel Lewin, I'd just like to give a very special mention to Harrison, Tia, and Henry, 3 pupils at the Five Islands School who brilliantly edited the Being Silly magazine. They're here today. Very well done to you all. And I hear we're going to hear something from you, and also we're going to hear something from Rachel as well. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Wow, what a and very gratefully received award for our small school on these tiny islands, and particularly for the children who contributed to the project. Our Being Silly magazine and our pop-up museum in school, they both showcase research and writing from many students at the Five Islands Academy. But the real stars who've earned this wonderful accolade are the three who you've just mentioned, our three student editors of Being Silly, Harrison, Henry, and Tia. And I'm hoping when I've just thanked a few people, I'll be able to ask them each in turn to give you a wave and take a bow on screen. And they work tirelessly after school, week after week, on our Being Silly magazine's design, content, and audience appeal. And they created a publication full of treasure hunts around our local museum and local history that's delighted and educated visitors to Scilly of all ages. I know before we see them that they would want me to say a really warm thank you to Jeremy Brown from our great team at our Creative Islands Partnership for all he did to drive this project forward. And as the school lead for the project at Five Islands Academy, I'd also like to add my thanks to our partners who've enabled us to engage with our community and its history in such a hands-on and inspiring way. Kate Hale's with us today, the Isles of Scilly Museum's curator, and her trustees and volunteers. And also thanks to Cultural Destinations and Feast, who supported us with funding to produce this award-winning now publication. So a huge thanks to all of you at the Heritage Awards for inviting us to join you at this great event today and giving us this wonderful accolade. I know the team at Five Islands Academy are very proud to accept it. So I'm going to introduce them one by one. And when I introduce you, Harrison, Henry, and Tia, if you'd like just to unmute your mute button and give a quick wave and say hello and a thank you, that would be great. So first, I'd like to introduce Harrison.
Hello, thank you for my award. I've worked very hard for it. I've put all my effort into it, and I just feel really happy to get this award. Thank you.
You really did, Harrison. Thank you for all your work. Next, we'd love to just have a wave and a hello from Henry.
It was very, thank you very much for this award. I think I'd like to thank everyone else who worked on this magazine and pop-up museum. It was very good. I think a lot of people enjoyed it, and it's been able to bring the museum out of the museum, bring it into wider community. So it's been really good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Henry. And finally, Tia, if you can join us, that would be great.
Thank you very much. I'm quite shocked that we got it, but I think a lot of hard work was put into it, and you know, it was a good outcome.
It really is a good outcome. Thank you to the three of you, and thank you so much to these great Heritage Awards.
Well, congratulations to you all, and how lovely to hear from Harrison, Tia, Henry and Rachel, all on Scilly, and wonderful that Scilly is represented this afternoon in the awards. Congratulations to you all. Our final nominee for Object of the Year is the Tremeau School Ping Pong Balls from the Archives and Special Collections of Falmouth University and the University of Exeter Penryn campus. Sarah Jane will tell us more.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm archivist for Falmouth University and University of Exeter's Penryn campus. Archives don't often contain objects, but now and then something really special sneaks in, or bounces in our case. Our entry for Cornish Object of the Year is the Tremeau Ping Pong Balls. So long before Penryn campus was home to Falmouth and Exeter universities, it was, of course, the Tremeau Convent School from the 1940s to the 1990s. These unassuming little balls represent a really important part of the history of the site, and of Cornwall's history too, and that they date from the Second World War, and specifically the period known as the Friendly Invasion. This, of course, was when we saw thousands of American GIs pass through Cornwall ahead of D-Day in June 1944, many of whom were based around Truro and Falmouth. You can see that the balls are stamped with tiny initials, USA. Many of the GIs stationed locally to Tremeau would visit the convent to play ping pong with the schoolgirls. And recent research by University of Exeter students has uncovered strong links between the military cluster and local churches, suggesting those men that visited the school were the most devout in their unit. When we consider, of course, that the oldest schoolgirls would have been 16 or 17, and many of the GIs barely a year or so older, these little spherical delights could of course tell a very different story.
I bet they could have done. But again, another really lovely story connected to one of the weird and wonderful objects. And there we have it. There were the 8 nominees dotted in between our awards for our penultimate award, the much coveted Object of the Year, voted for by more than 2,500 public votes. So without further ado, let's announce the winner of the Object of the Year, and that goes to Padstow Museum's Mounted Horseman. Well, we're joined by John Buckingham and John Barnes, who represent Padstow Museum. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you to all those people who voted for us.
Yeah, we're highly delighted with that, and it's quite an attribute on our 50th year since we were first opened. So thank you for all the people who voted for us, and we hope you'll come and see us when all the troubles are over. Thank you, everybody.
They're obviously very special to you both, aren't they? They're a very special part of the museum.
They are very much so. They've been part of our lives and the lives of generations of Padstonians before us.
Yes, 50 years this April, and we're still going. Even though we're shut at the moment, we're quite determined to keep the ball rolling in 2021.
I'm sure you'll make sure that that happens, won't you, gentlemen? It's lovely to see you both. Thank you very much for joining us and telling us a little bit more about not only the museum, but also accepting that award for the Object of the Year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And so to the presentation, the Judges Special Award. This will be given to the organisation. The judges feel most merits additional commendation. To present this award, please welcome Head Judge Ellie Collier.
Hello everybody, it's so lovely to be here, and what a fantastic celebration of museums across Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly this has been. And on behalf of all the judges, I want to congratulate all the finalists and indeed all the applicants. It was a real joy to read through everything, and actually getting to read through all my judging notes again this wet October has been a real treat. So it's been lovely to have them now. So for the Judges Award, we were really impressed by this organisation. They are unbelievable with their unrelenting enthusiasm, energy, adoption of new ideas and ways of working, a positive mindset, and an ability to develop connections with new people and other organisations. We were hugely inspired by this organisation and felt there were very few other organisations of any size who couldn't learn something from this winner. So I'm really delighted to award the 2020 Judges Award to Newquay Heritage Archive and Museum, and I believe we have Len to accept the award.
Well, that's caught me speechless. Thank you so much. That's absolutely brilliant. I really don't know what to say. We do work really hard at trying to be positive and get out to meet as many people as we can in lots and lots of different ways. And this is really fantastic. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And thank you to everybody else for joining in. It's been a really great day as well. So thank you very much, or Muras as we say in Cornwall. Thank you.
Glam then, congratulations to you all at the Newquay Heritage Archive and Museum. and of course all the winners and highly commended individuals and teams. Don't forget your awards and certificates will be sent to you. Finally, we'd like to say a big thank you again to our sponsors and supporters, and also to the panel of judges. Ellie Collier, who we've just seen, Woe King, who I understand might actually be supping a cocktail. It looks like it anyway. Emma Hogg, Alison Elvey, Stephen Boyce, Robin Clark, Ralph Wills of PH Media, Dr. Dan Bloomfield of TEVI, and Tamsin Smith of Cornwall Council. And from me, a big thank you to Jodie and Steph, who've put so much work into the presentation and who've been helping me throughout the awards. There's lots of chatter on Twitter. Thank you very much to Tamina and to Emmy Kell and to Amy Shakespeare, who apparently is looking absolutely glam. I wouldn't expect anything less. Thank you all for joining us for this year's awards. We hope you've enjoyed your afternoon and look forward to seeing you next year. And I wonder if you could just do one more thing before we all go. Please can you all unmute, because wouldn't it be great to have you cheering to end the proceedings. So after 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hooray! Lovely, thank you so much.
Oh, Barbara Britton's there. There she is. Seen her. Hey, Barbara.
Everybody, cheers.
Hey, Phil.
Hi, Barbara. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Phil.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I can hear all.
I'm going to mute now.
Thanks, guys. My webcam wouldn't work earlier, but thanks from Giva for our award.
I don't know how many votes we got. There was 2,500.
Congrats, Jack.
Altogether.
We'll have to let the volunteers know now.
Yes. I'll send a message to Daphne.
Yeah.
And I'll get something put in the Paris magazine for next. Who's that?
What's this? Is it finished now?
Don't know. I don't know who she. Oh, that's the lady from. Yeah. There's various people are still on. Then are we still on?
Well,
yeah, we can hear you.
I don't know. That's generally.
You're definitely on.
Just want to say thanks. It's Jack from Giva in mine here. My webcam wouldn't work while the awards were going. To say thank you to Cornwall Museum's partnership and everyone involved in the awards for our award. The guys, Jack and Josh, that are part of the Mucker team, will be absolutely delighted. They couldn't make it today, but they'll be absolutely chuffed. So I'm really, really happy that we won it. And congratulations to all the other nominees and winners. Great that technology didn't work at the one time I needed it to. But I'm absolutely chuffed. They've been up for a nomination before and they didn't win, and they were really keen to get back into it. So I'll pass the news on to them. But thanks a lot.
Yay! Thank you so much for seeing at the end, Jack Roberts, and taking that honour on behalf of the team as well from Giva. Thank you very, very much to all of you. We really did enjoy that bit of banter between you all when you discovered that you recognised people on the screens. But thank you so much for joining us and for the Cornwall Heritage Awards, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Enjoy your goodie bags.
Yeah.
Come on,
well done, Nikki.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Now what? Are we leaving? Or are we?
Leave the meeting.